I once heard of a mother who named her daughter Vagena. Vagina. Think about all the trouble that poor girl faced in school. So names are important in real life, and they are important in fiction as well. In the movie Meet the Fockers, Ben Stiller is named Gaylord Focker.
Wait. So your name is Gay Focker?
The writers must have had a good time coming up with that one. Starting with more obvious ones, and then toward the end of this video, I'll get to more unusual and surprising ones. 1. Pick a one-word name. Musicians have known for a long time that a single name could be more memorable than a full name. Adele, Drake, Usher, Pink. And writers use this technique too. Here are some of my favorites. Think about 11 from Stranger Things, or 4 in Divergent. In Clockwork Orange, there's a character named Dim. Not only is it a single word, it also describes him admirably. Spock from Star Trek supposedly had a last name, but the audience never learned it because he said it was too difficult for humans to pronounce. Think about how weird it would sound, like Spock Smith or something. Like, no, he's just Spock. 2. Go wild. Thomas Pynchon is the captain of crazy names. Just look at the ones in Inherent Vice. Lieutenant Detective Christian F. Bigfoot Bjornsson, Puck Beaverton, Sortilege, Doc Sportello, Japonica Fenway. I mean, that is some wild stuff in there. He really used up all his creativity energy coming up with names in that book. And David Foster Wallace is no slouch when it comes to generating creative names either. Hal Incandenza. I love the combination of a very short, simple first name with this complex, creative second name. And we should also include Don DeLillo's best contribution for this category, Bucky Wonderlick. 3. Make the name match. Let's take a look at the way J.K. Rowling names characters and how those names reflect the personality of their owner. Draco Malfoy. It is such a nefarious, evil-sounding name. Draco is the Latin word for dragon, and mal meaning bad or malfeasance. Luna Lovegood, such a sweetheart. And alliterative to boot with those lovely L's. But Luna, meaning lunar or moon, also lets you know she's a little bit wacky. Voldemort. Yeah, pretty much the incarnation of evil sounding. Mort meaning death, and Vold sounding like mold. And Charles Dickens leads the league in this type of wordplay. Murdstone. He's an abusive stepfather, and with a name like that, there's zero chance he could be a hero. Striver. With a name like that, could you imagine he's anything other than a hard worker? Slime. You get 2 guesses whether this is a villain, but you're only going to need 1. 4. Repeat names. One of the best names of all time is Major in Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. That's right, 4 majors in a row. It is an ongoing gag, and it makes me laugh every single time I read it. And who could forget Humbert and Nabokov's Lolita? The repetition of his name makes him laughable, an object of mockery for the reader. There's also Jar Jar Binks, Richie Rich, Rin Tin Tin, Woody Woodpecker. And there's plenty of examples in real life too. Think about Honey Boo Boo, which is such a better name than Honey Boo. Flavor Flav would be another off-the-wall example. Or good old Marky Mark. 5. Consider using your name. Why not give a character in your book your full name? Or just your middle name? Or maybe a name that has the same initials as you? It offers this lovely metafictional dimension. Or are you just saying that the character has something in common with you? Are you subverting the divide between fiction and nonfiction? Or are you just messing with the reader? For instance, in Jonathan Safran's Foer novel, Everything is Illuminated, the main character is named Jonathan Safran Foer. And in Michel Houellebecq's novel Platform, he kills off a character called Michel Houellebecq. 6. Make an anagram. Pick something that your character represents, like narcissistic or travel king. Then ask AI to make a bunch of anagrams based on that phrase or word. For instance, narcissistic comes out to Cassius Trincy. When you get rich and famous and people ask you about the character, you'll have this very clever explanation in your back pocket that you can trot out for people in the know. 7. Add a prefix or a suffix. Simply adding a prefix to one of your character's names is a great way to spice up an otherwise boring name. Let's use my name as an example. Lieutenant John Fox, Sir John Fox, Dr. John Fox, Coach John Fox. Actually, I'm a soccer coach. Officer John Fox, Reverend John Fox. Or do the opposite and choose a suffix. John Matthew Fox III, yes. John Fox Jr., John Fox, PhD. 8. Use alliteration. I put an exclamation point there because it is a command. Because you need an imperative to get your creative juices flowing. Alliteration is so obvious and not a lot of people consider it when creating good names. Wonder Woman, Green Goblin, Willy Wonka, and you get bonus points if you can come up with 3 alliterative words. I only know 1, and it's from The Never-Ending Story. Bastian Balthazar Bucks. BBB. 9. Give a long name. Why stop at 1 name or 2, you underachiever? Go for 4. Go for 5. And if you can add on a prefix or a suffix, hey, that's just bonus points. Do you remember Dumbledore's full name? Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Out of those 5, Brian really doesn't fit, does it? In Raymond Queneau's The Blue Flowers, there is a character named Joaquin Olind Anaste Crepenine Honorat Irini Mederic, and whose initials spell out that first name. Clever, huh? Charles Williams, who was a writer along with C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, gave an impressive character name in his book War in Heaven. Aubrey Duncan Peregrine Mary de Listle de Estrange. And that's not even counting the title, which was Duke of the North Ridings, Marquess of Craigmullen, Plessing, Count of the Holy Roman Empire, Knight of the Cape and Sword, and several other ridiculous fantasies. But for names this long, I would recommend using them only once and then shortening it to a nickname. 10. Reverse the first and last name. I was just reading Doug Warhol's Thin Blue Smoke, and there's a character named Ferguson. This little girl asks him, is that your last name or your first name? His first, oddly enough. His full name is Ferguson Glenn. Normally you would think it'd be Glenn Ferguson. It's just this great reversal which makes his name very memorable. So once you come up with a good name, consider reversing the names. 11. Hyphenate the name. A hyphenated name can tell you a lot about a character. It could tell you that they're married and wanted to make a compromise between keeping their old last name and adopting the husband's new name. Or a hyphenated name can tell you that this person is of a certain class and economic level. Plus, a hyphenated name looks very different on the page than other names, so it makes it easier for the reader to distinguish that character from other characters. There's also this tricky thing you can do where a hyphenated name is symbolic of a divided personality. That's a little extra tidbit for you advanced writers. 12. Avoid proper names. In Jose Saramago's Blindness, he doesn't give anyone proper names, he just calls them by their profession. The doctor, the doctor's wife, woman with dark glasses, man with black eye patch. It gives the whole novel a sense of a fable and also makes them stand-ins for the rest of humanity. Plus, those are pretty cool character names. And here are a couple more examples of non-name names from television and elsewhere. The Doctor from Doctor Who, the cigarette smoking man from X-Files, the Time Traveler from The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Particularly in The Cigarette Man and the X-Files, not giving him a name creates this aura of mystery around him, like you don't even know this man's name. Enjoy naming your characters and don't forget to subscribe and like.